What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another one of our Boardroom Podcasts where we help you stay calm, change lives, and have business on your terms. Now, today, what I want to actually talk about is something that I'm learning and working on growing in. There's a couple things that really has been my focus going into Q1 of 2024, and that's really resource allocation and project management. Now, as you start growing a business and you have limited resources, you have to be very good at resource allocation and project management and making sure you're optimizing your team's workflow in a way that allows them to really focus on the most high leverage activities. I can't stress that enough. There's so much inefficiencies inside of a business if you're not really focused on optimizing resources. And especially if you have an abundance of resources, then you lose the inefficiency. You don't really try to optimize a ton of resources. But when you have limited resources, this is where you need to be very creative and you need to be very resourceful, right? We don't have an abundance of resources. We don't have an abundance of people on our team. We have like real constraints, operational constraints with the number of accounts that we can take on, with how much time the dev team has to continue to not only improve the functionality of the platform, roll out new features, but then also fix any bugs or issues that clients or some of our users are facing. So when you have like those real constraints on what you can do and how quickly you can scale and grow, you have to ultimately figure out, one, how can I remove friction from the people on my team, right? I spent a lot of my time thinking through how can I remove friction to increase their ability and their capacity, right? How can I remove friction? What are the things that they're working on doing one of these three things? Are the things that they're working on solving problems, increasing retention, or creating potential new revenue opportunities, right? And that's for like like my dev team. Are they solving problems? Are what they're working on going to increase like how long we retain users? And are they working on anything that's actually going to create a new revenue stream for the business or new ways for us to monetize the platform? And if they're not working on one of those three things, I'm ruthlessly figuring out, do we even need to do it? Or is this something that we can do later? Or is this something that we can deprioritize and put on the backlog and circle back to it? Or is this something we just kill immediately and not even entertain? Or do we need to bring on junior people or delegate this task to somebody else on the team that can actually do it? All right, so those are the things that we're thinking through as far as the product development goes. And then when it comes to marketing and sales and thinking through, okay, how do we maximize our resources and essentially optimize our efficiency with resource allocation? I'm asking our customer success team, hey, who are the people that we currently have that we're currently servicing that take almost no time for us to service, that are using these sets of features that are the most polished, and actually don't even use any of these other features that are a little bit more complex, that require more time from our dev team to develop. All right, which of our clients actually don't need this suite of features that we can service at a really high level, that absolutely love the platform, right? Get that information from our customer and client success teams, and then give that to the marketing team. Like, hey guys, let's shift our marketing campaigns for the rest of Q1 going into Q2 and just focus on targeting these types of avatars. All right. Talk to our salespeople. Hey, these are the types of people that we really want to focus on onboarding and enrolling right now. Everyone else that don't fit these parameters, we can help, but we have to put them on a wait list and circle back to them when our dev team and the product is at a point where we can actually start servicing these types of clients at a high level. All right. So you have to be way more tactful in how you approach the types of clients that you want to bring on, your team's resources, like what is the team spending their time on? And are they really maximizing their time to work on the things that are highest leverage for the business at that time? All right. So my job as a CEO is really thinking through the team, thinking through our constraints, thinking through our resources, and thinking through, okay, what is the best way for me to position each person that we have on the team and prioritize the things that they need to be focusing on so that everyone is doing the highest leverage activities that are going to move the needle in the business in that current state. It may not always be like that, and I have to be vigilant to always be mindful of like, what are the main initiatives, what are the main constraints, what are the main focuses that we need, and what are the levers that we can pull that are going to grow and drive the business forward. So we have that. And then so that's on the resource allocation side. And we could probably turn this into two separate podcasts because of the nature of how much we can kind of dive into the resource allocation. And then when it comes to project management is a skill that I have had to learn because of where I'm sitting in the business, and the fact that I just have right now I have more intimate knowledge in all the different areas of the business. So when it comes to managing projects in different parts of the business, sometimes that's the highest leverage thing that I can do. So when it comes to project management, one of the things that I've seen that we're working on improving with our team is really understanding and building out a true scope of work for a project, right? And when I say scope of work, I mean, like, what is the goal of this project? What problem is it going to solve? How are we measuring results? And what is the way that we're gathering the data that we need to quantify whether or not this was successful or not? I'm not overseeing small, tiny projects that really mean nothing. Like, when I'm focused on a project, it has to be the highest use of my time. It's because project is going to solve a very important problem, help us retain revenue and increase LTV, or give us an opportunity to monetize and maximize value for our platform. So building out those things for project management, I realized that a lot of times when our team will start working on a project, they're not really thinking through how this needs to be, like, what the scope of work for the project is. And because of that, it's led to inefficiencies in certain things getting done. I realized we have to create a standardized way for tackling big projects so that, one, we can measure the results of it. And we're doing this even for small projects, all right? So that anything that we're spending our time working on, we know the goal, we know how it's going to be measured, and we have a way to gather the quantifiable and empirical evidence that we need to determine if it was successful or not. And if it wasn't successful, if it didn't solve the problem and didn't get the results, we have a way to evaluate why it didn't, what needs to be corrected, and then we go at it again. So those are really two big things that I'm personally learning, and what I'm doing and how I'm going about my day and thinking through what I need to be doing on a day-to-day basis is, how do we maximize resources? When I'm thinking about maximizing resource allocation, I'm thinking through, how do I remove friction from my team? How do I help them focus on doing the things that are the highest priority? And how I help them focus on that is determining what problems being solved with this activity. How is this going to help us retain clients longer? And is this going to create an opportunity for us to monetize? And then I kind of think through that across all the departments, and depending on the constraints, we'll make sure we communicate quickly and do a quick course adjustment. And then when it comes to project management, we have to build out a scope of work, know what are the goals, right? How's success being measured? How are we gathering the feedback loop? And then ultimately, was it successful or not? All right. So hope you found those things helpful. Those are what I'm focusing on and how I'm working on being a better leader and having a bigger impact on our team, and ultimately empowering our team to get more of the needle driving things done on a day-to-day basis. So until next time, stay calm, change lives, and have business on your terms.